Welcome back to In Deep Crit, playing Blade Runner, the role-playing game, the rather good system that we're learning and starting to enjoy from Free League Publishing. This is our third session, playing through the Electric Dreams investigation from the starter set. If you like what we're doing, and if you're watching this, then please, drop us a subscription and a like and a share. And comment on what we're doing. It would really, really help us out as we're a small channel trying to get going. Every subscription means the world to us right now. So yeah, please just take that moment to click the little button below the video. Thank you. My name's Damien Humphreys, and I'm playing the character of Willem Novak, who is an inspector archetype Blade Runner in this setting. And we have with us today, let's do the characters first today, I think. So, Fenna, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hey, Aubrey Stewart, playing Fenna. She's a replicant and doxy. And she had a weird experience with the memory last time.
She did indeed, yes. And Percival.
Alright, I'm Phil Pass, and I'm playing Percival, who is an analyst and is recently in the field and is not enjoying it.
Yeah, he's having a bad time. That's
he's
right.
He's an N9 analyst, isn't he? He's a Nexus 9. So we've got a human and two replicants. I'm Luke Hindmarsh. I am game runner and hopefully putting these guys through their paces. And just to echo what Damien said about subscriptions and things. Obviously, our plans in the future will be to do more of these kind of things with all the various game systems we play, of which there are quite a few. So we will be expanding this, and your support will be greatly appreciated going forward into that. Anyway, kicking off, this is session 3. We went through, Blade Runner works on a shift system, so it's really important to keep track of the time. That actually is a variable shift system depending on how many players you have, which is a nice little detail because here we've got 3 people. Obviously they can cover more ground than a single investigator, and maybe not quite as much ground as if they had the full 4. That's sort of like the maximum ideal number of players certainly for this scenario, this module, Electric Dreams. So we've been through the first day, the first 4 shifts of the game, with the 4th shift being downtime, and after the various downtime activities, even the replicants still need sleep. Certainly Novak has gone back, and you've all had a night's sleep, maybe haunted by dreams, maybe peaceful like innocent spring lambs being dreamed of by androids. I don't know, whatever. Some kind of Philip K. Dick reference there. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry, I know, neither do I. Anyway, you are so Novak, you are rudely awakened in the morning by the blatting of your vidphone.
Okay. Groggily reach over, tap the button. Yeah, Novak.
What the hell is going on, Novak? It's Deputy Chief Holden. Get your ass and get your team to my office immediately. I need an explanation for this. And up to the screen he holds up the front cover of a magazine. You can just make out that it's Kill magazine. You got a lot of explaining to do, and I need to see you in my office now. Vidphone clicks off.
We were supposed to be here today.
Great way to wake up, right?
Supposed to still be on leave. All right, I'll contact Fenna and Percival.
Fenna and Percival,
guys.
You're woken in your shitty little apartments with the 99% decontaminated water, and sorry.
Guys, I've just had the Deputy Chief on the blower. He's not happy. He waved a copy of Kill in front of the screen. I couldn't read it. Apparently we've got to explain ourselves. Something's happened. He wants us in his office like 5 minutes ago. I'll see you at the tower.
Okay. Your route will take you past the streets. It will take you past... you can get into a spinner and go. Perhaps you don't have a spinner for private use when you're not working a case. Maybe you've got a ground car. It's up to you. However, you've got the opportunity to pick up a copy of Kill en route if you'd like. And therefore, what I will do...
want to be forewarned. Yes.
Yeah, hang on. The normal option to show to players doesn't... What's going on here? Here we are. Show players. And I'll make sure you can have that in your journals.
That's succinct, isn't it? Got that going for it.
Turning the pages to look at the article. Still only $10 weekly. Turning the page to flick to the article, you read a total trash piece claiming that an N9 has massacred, has killed someone. It doesn't go into the full details necessarily about the case, but there's enough detail. There's enough detail that it makes it, someone's got info on your investigation, that's for sure. And it looks possibly like a leak.
And this is referencing what happened when we chased Styles and not what happened in the club.
No, this is referencing the murder of Sandor, and it's claiming that Leah is a Nexus 9 Blade Runner. It's naming, it's shaming, it's pointing a big finger at her, claiming that she is the replicant killer who's on the run. It's not saying there is a killer of replicants on the run. It's saying there is a replicant who's a killer on the run. It's an N9, and she's out there, and it is a major smear piece on her. Does reference briefly that there is a Blade Runner team investigating, but that whereas where it gets a bit sparse. You're not named or photographed, not yet.
Right. Does it seem like, so first of all, like Kill Magazine are obviously terrible at their job because it should say killer replicant on the run, not replicant killer.
Yeah.
Does it have any information that wouldn't be able to be extrapolated from the editor being at the nightclub? Is there actual specific stuff that is from stuff we've uploaded, for example?
So, not that you've uploaded, in the sense that there's nothing taken from the mainframe. It's like someone has certainly been paying attention to your investigation or has followed up afterwards or something like that. There's just, so it can't just be purely what was witnessed at the scene. Some more information than purely being a witness at the scene has come out. For example, how would Yellow Skyler or any of the rest of Kill magazine know that Leah was a N9?
Yeah.
How would they even know that Sander was an N9? The fact that it's a replicant who's been killed is somewhat glossed over. The focus is definitely on they're claiming it's a replicant that did the killing.
Does it mention the failed baseline test?
It does not. Just calls her unstable. And it's massive scaremongering. Very anti-replicant, as you'd imagine. All the usual attacks.
Okay.
So, however you make your way to Holden's office, are you waiting until you're all together, I take it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So we're sending Percival in first.
Yeah, he can go by himself.
I'll think everyone else is following me, step through the door and be like...
Get the hell in here and close the door.
Good morning to you too, Chief.
Don't good morning me, Novak. What the fuck is this? Which one of you? Have you all been trying to get some publicity? Which one of you's been speaking to the scum journalists?
May I make an observation, Deputy Chief?
Make sure it's a worthwhile one.
If one of us was trying to leak this and get publicity, surely one of us would have leaked that she failed to baseline test and was recently reprogrammed. the fact that we haven't leaked that, the fact that that detail's not in there, suggests that either whoever leaked this is in the LAPD and inept, or is someone on the outside.
Why do you think they'd want to leak information? Why do you think that this magazine would want to print baseline failures? That gives some idea that replicants in under my authority are kept under some kind of watch or control. This is an article that smears not only the LAPD but Wallace as well, saying there is no control and we've got replicant murderers running around the streets, just like the bad old days back in 2019, 2020.
And wouldn't you, Deputy Chief, the fact that Wallace had intervened and supposedly fixed the problem, and she then went and killed after that, wouldn't that just make that all the more damning?
Well, we'll wait till tomorrow's article, shall we, Percival? I take your point. Are you saying you didn't smear this department just to line your own pocket?
That would be against procedure. I would never do that.
You've known me a long time, sir.
I have, and I know you hold no love for the skin jobs. Maybe you'd like to see them off the force. Maybe making you work with two of them was enough to push you off and over the limit. Tell me, Novak.
I've actually had a pretty good experience working with these two so far. They're diligent. They're doing their job very well. Yeah, I have history with skin jobs. But I do not have a history of taking backhanders. There are many dodgy and corrupt officers in this building, and you know it, and I know it, and everybody knows it. But I am not fucking one of them, sir. With respect.
That leaves you, Doxy. You're used to greasing the wheels any which possible way to get a result. Maybe you figured, maybe you're going to do a Leah yourself. Maybe you're going to run. Was it you?
No, I can't. I wouldn't compromise this case.
So you have pulled me off leave into this investigation, which frankly is a shitstorm. We are still undergoing our investigation. We don't know exactly what happened, but some of that article is true. There is a replicant on the run. We do not know if Leah was the shooter or not. But she was certainly seen fleeing the scene with a gun, getting into a cab. That much we know. That much we have uploaded in our investigation report. These two, Fenna and Percival, have been diligent, have done their jobs. They are not experienced in the field, as I am, and yet they have shown aptitude and ability and integrity so far in this investigation. We followed a suspect yesterday that also turned into a shitstorm. We identified at least one rogue N8, which is now in custody. May not be walking anytime soon, but hopefully might be talking. There is a lot more to this case than first appeared. Yella, Skylar, was at the club. That is also in our report.
I've read your reports. I need to hear a little bit more. But at this point, so I'm just breaking character from him, which means I get to put the cigarette away from me, because anyone watching this not realising I don't smoke these horrible things normally. It's just a role-playing thing. It's a prop. The sacrifices we make. Pat on head. Sorry. Could I have a manipulation roll from you? And I will happily take one from the group with advantage. I suspect the most manipulative person would be Fenna, but Novak was doing most of the talking. Because of Percival's lengthy chat, I think I'll allow him to give you advantage. Does that sound fair to the three of you? I appreciate I'm not going to the best manipulator. But...
You're really not. No, that seems absolutely fine. Yeah.
I could make it Percival and give him advantage based on your help, but I suspect
probably not going to
help. No, I think that's fitting for the situation.
Yep, he is a grade D manipulator, so let's
he's still
not let Percival do it.
Irate. Let's see whether you can mollify.
With advantage. I'm pushing that.
Oh. Well, Novak, I think I need to point out, first of all, leave is a privilege, not a right. You're going to work this case, you're going to get it solved, and then we're going to review this. But this is a mark against you until I've got concrete proof that you did not leak this. And I need evidence that you didn't. I need to hear it from that scumbag editor himself. Till that time, this is going on your record. It's going on all your files. Don't like it? Well, we'll come and have a talk about it when you catch this killer and when you catch Leah. And if she is the killer, we're in big trouble. Now,
may I make a suggestion, Deputy Chief?
I don't want any suggestions. What I want is a report. What's your next step? What was her? I noticed you haven't been to her apartment yet. What steps are you taking to track her down?
We've traced the cab that she took. So we have follow-ups to do on Anemoid Road. The rogue N8 skin job that we tailed yesterday has been seen on Anemoid Road. On Anemoid Row, apologies. Leah's apartment is on the list of places to visit today. We had what we thought were more pressing leads to chase down yesterday. I think, given this situation, our two most pressing things are to go and see Yella Skylar and to go to Leah's apartment.
Flip it round, and I'd agree with you. We need to get her as soon as possible. We need to find out if she pulled the trigger.
Yep.
You got any leads as an alternative shooter? Any evidence that points away from her, someone else? Percival, you had a suggestion. If it's something to do with that, I want to hear it.
It's not strictly procedure, but if we believe the leak is either coming from someone accessing the mainframe or someone tailing us, and perhaps if there was a piece of evidence in the mainframe that did not have provenance, it would prove where the leak came from.
You're going to have to do an awful lot better than that if you're going to make me think that our mainframe has a leak in it. And
well,
that leak is going to lead to some second-rate, scummy magazine editor like Skylar over at Kill. Now, if you were saying that Wallace was picking up information from us, maybe I'd have ears to listen. What are you doing about checking up on a possible second or alternate shooter?
Percival got details on the slug that he dug out of the wall at the crime scene. It's the same that's used in a standard issue blaster. It might have come from another weapon. So we're going to chase down Bullet Bob's and see if he's sold any off-the-books weapons or ammunition to anybody recently. At the moment, it's looking like Leah's the shooter, unless we can find somebody else.
There's also the sound that people reported is very characteristic of a blaster.
I know Bob Gorski. Watch him. He's a mad old bastard, but he's dangerous. And he's got no love for skin jobs. That said, he's done a service for this department before. Helped us out back when you were a rookie. So, this department owes him a certain degree of respect. Do I make myself clear?
Crystal, sir.
If you've got anything to do in the building, get on it. Then get on to the next lead. And I want regular reports. If anything else leaks, so help me.
If anything else leaks, sir, it hasn't come from us.
You've not convinced me of that yet, Novak.
Stake my job on it, sir.
Staking more than your job on it. Just so you know, if Wallace thinks that you've leaked this.
Understood.
Make sure you'd have.
Fenna, do you have anything to add?
I looked into her memories. Trying to understand where she might go. And what might have really happened. I think it's really complicated, sir.
That's what you get paid for, Fenna. Look, I'm going to have to be on the phone straight over to a representative at Wallace trying to paper over this shit storm. If that makes any sense whatsoever. Anyway, you got a job. Snap to it. Novak, you've known Holden for years. You've never seen him so pissed off. Uncharacteristic anger. He's normally got a relatively sunny mood, despite all the shit that's happened to him. Obviously, an intense scene. Thank you for handling that very well, because it's not nice to be given a dressing down, even in a game. And I hope you don't mind that I was being quite forceful. So, you're in the... This is shift 1 of the day. Anything else will be shift 2. You've kind of been co-opted as a result.
So that's shift 1 done, right?
That is shift. So that's shift 1. You've got, since you're in the LAPD, I would allow you to do certain things. If you had something else you wanted to check here, I'd assess it whether or not it's really going to take a whole shift. So if there's something that could be done reasonably without taking a shift, then let's try and get that done. I'm not going to disadvantage you too much, having taken away a slot of time from you.
Do we want to find out what this N8 has revealed, if anything?
That seems the best use of time.
It's a quick chat with Coco. Reveals instantly that the N8's alive, but you're not going to be getting anything out of them for a long time. They're barely able to talk. Like, the shot has damaged their nervous system to such a point that they're not just paralyzed physically, their speech centers are screwed. It's possible that there might be some repair, but they're going to be shipped off to Wallace for that. So they've already been prepped to fly over to the HQ. Wallace will give you a report if you're lucky.
Can we check the because I know with the blackout certain records went, is it possible to check what this N8's original assignment was and who it was assigned with? Because we know that there are other
sure.
conspirators.
I mean, since you've got the the serial number, which is an interesting point here, where I've given you access to styles based off a photograph, which is, as I understand it, the way the rules work it. I possibly would be more prone to say it's only off the reading of the eyeball, because, you know, there's reasons. But at the same time, anyway, you've got that on this particular replicant, and just checking through the details, the records on him are not fully intact. So you've got some details that they're not like married up to another serial number. They don't say they came in a group. This is part of what the blackout achieved. There's not even a photograph on his file. You've got half the number of fingerprints. What you do have is the serial number, and you've got like combat and hard labor rated physical B, mental C. So like a second line level combat model / labor model, depending on more like a multi-purpose possible security.
If I check the records of him and Styles, do I see any overlap anywhere they could have met?
All of that information is completely absent.
Yeah.
This is the thing about the the blackout. Wallace will have fragments of recordings of information, and there might be ways of getting links together. But if you think about our current data usage on the internet and imagine you just shredded it and dispersed it, and no one has the time or effort to be able to stitch it all back together again, that's the kind of state we're in 2037. Sorry, there's some really good ideas you're coming up with, but
that's the whole point. Is to does anyone else think there's any value in trying to see if we can get Esper footage of the other two that escaped?
I think it's a waste of time. I think we'll get the same results. There's so much lost from the blackout that we'll only get fragmentary evidence. I think we need to go to the apartment. That's our orders, basically, is to go to Fenna's apartment, Leah's apartment, not Fenna's apartment. Fenna's apartment's a shithole.
Hey, that's...
How does he know? He's never been there. Okay, how are you going? Are you all going in the same... so you're going to all take your own detective specials, or try to? Are you all going to take... try to requisition a spinner with multi-seating? What's the plan?
I think we should take separate ones in case we need to leave and go to separate places.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I counter to that. I think we should all go together and then all go to see Yellow Skylar together.
We're gonna leave We've only got one more. As I understand it, we've only got 2 more shifts collectively. And we've also, before the chief chews us out the next day, we got to have seen this bullet guy, haven't we? Can you imagine if we're on his office tomorrow getting a dressing down and we haven't run down the guy with a gun?
Got a problem, haven't you? Because you've got the information about Yellow Skylar. Doesn't like reps. Got the information about Bob Gorski at Bullet Bob's. Doesn't like reps. So... and there's only 3 of you, and 2 of you are reps. Got to make your decisions.
Yeah.
Is it
okay?
possible...
Let's go separately, because if it comes to it, I can go and see Skylar and Bob while you guys chase down other leads.
Okay.
And if I need to push on a shift, I can. If there's something else I need to chase up afterwards.
Cool.
Sounds good.
So you go down. You go up to the. Right, obviously, brought your own vehicles. You go on to requisition a detective special for each. There aren't 3 available. You can get a single detective special. There might be a spinner, and then but it's currently in use, so you'd have to wait. And then there is a ground car. So what do you want to do about that?
I'm okay to take the ground car, I guess.
Cool. So you go in the ground
car.
car.
The normal spinner.
You'll hold out for the normal spinner, and then Fenna, you've got the detective special, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So what we're gonna do is, first of all, both Novak and, because of the wait time for Percival, you're both going to end up arriving around about the same time at the location. And Fenna, we're going to deal with you because you're bombing along through the skies, through the rain, wipers on full, and then you realise that there are some spinners. There's at least one spinner behind you, and it's flying a pursuit course. So I will take you to a different...
Another chase.
Yeah. Well, you could say that. So I'm going to drag you and drop you onto the screen, Fenna. Unfortunately, within the Foundry implementation, which is what we're using, it's been very nicely set up, but it's only been out a few days. Probably by the time it's been fully released, it's already had 1 update. It'll probably have another update before full release to the non-Kickstarter public, if you like. I would imagine you'll see certain little tweaks and improvements. I've already seen a few tweaks and improvements. Hopefully things like, the replicant team that was with Styles not being revealed as that without, as game runner, I tried to fix that problem, but I missed the step myself, so I can see how easy that is to happen. Here, there isn't at the moment, at least not that I can find, a token or a sheet for the spinners. So, looking in the book, and I will put up an image of the detective special, I'll put up an image of the spinner in pursuit. If you go to page 196, 197 of the core rules, you'll find details of your detective spinner. The most important things to note here are maneuverability B, hull 4, armor C. And the vehicle that's pursuing you is... So let's just... Sorry, I did say I was going to dump you on the screen, so we've got access to your character sheet. Have you healed any stress yet, Fenna? Because you should have healed some for your downtime, right?
No. Do I just click on the box?
There you go. I'll do it for you. So you're fully back to.
All right.
And so the problem that's going to be revealed, I just hopefully fix that. I can see. Yeah. So if you are running this, just double check that if this instance, which may or may not arise for you when you're running it, may not occur in this way, just double check the tokens before you put them on, because at the moment they're a dead giveaway. Okay, so we'll do a combat. We'll draw initiative, and it isn't a chase. They are actively coming after you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to roll for initiative, or shall I roll your initiative for you?
I'll click it. See what.
You're good for that. Cool. So you're somewhat ahead. This is where we get to play with vehicle combat rules. I should be able to bring that up in...
Good job I didn't take the detective special, because this combat wouldn't last long, the way he drives.
Yeah.
Is it based on intelligence?
I somehow doubt that.
Well, I'm graded D.
It's under the...
Yeah, it's joined onto intelligence, but yeah.
So no, driving isn't linked to any of the stats.
Oh, is it just...
Driving
one...
is your skill plus the maneuverability of the vehicle.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You should be able to go onto your...
Which was...
should be able to go onto your sheet and... Oh dear. There'll be an option to say... vehicle maneuverability. So there's a cogwheel at the top right-hand corner of your sheet. And you should be able to go click on that cogwheel where it says sheet. Mm-hmm. And down on this sheet, underneath, you've got vehicle maneuverability.
Mm-hmm.
And that will assist you when you're using your drive skill.
And you can also just notice if you click on driving, there's a little plus button next to the die you have for your driving skill, where you can just add another die in.
Oh well, that's very useful.
Which is
Okay, thank you. That's useful to know.
So there's 2 ways of doing it, which is nice.
Just can I check that you've got vision, please, Damien, since you're the one that everyone is looking through the eyes of. Yeah, cool. So you can see the screen. Excellent.
Yep.
Brilliant. So I will also bring up vehicle combat for you and show that to players, in case you don't have. This is all within the system. That's vehicle combat, and so you're effectively at when you realise that they're right on your tail. They are right on your tail, and I will move the tokens to reveal that they are painfully close, just outside short range and moving into short range. But you see what's happening, and so you just have the drop on them to take some kind of action. What do you want to do? Bear in mind this is aerial combat, so you're in 3 dimensions. You're cruising about, should we say you're cruising at about 3 range categories above the ground.
Okay. Is this... oh god.
Yeah. It's a fair amount of stuff.
Alright, so... speeding away is it the equivalent to sprinting?
Yeah, right? It is exactly equivalent to sprinting. It's going to be interesting to test this. I can't say I've necessarily got my head around the vehicle combat rules, but there's only one way to get your head around the rules, which is to use them. So let's give it a crack and we'll see how this works out. So you want to speed? Try, and what I'm going to suggest is that if you fail the speeding rule, that will lead to. So I'm keeping track of your altitude. Let's see if there's a clever way of doing that. I said you were effectively long range, so short, medium, long. So the ground, if I do this, then can you see the bottom of the screen? You'll see that you've got 3, we'll call that bottom square, that's hitting the deck. So if you would be in contact with the bottom of the or ground effect mode, and if you go past that, that's hitting the deck. So if you go into the black, you're probably going into the big long blackness that lasts forever. So particularly for those of you with like replicants who don't have a soul, allegedly. So yeah, by all means, make your roll instead of like screwing up and falling on your face. If you don't succeed on the driving roll to sprint, what I'll say is that you lose a altitude category.
Okay.
And I think also, again, I'm not sure about how these rules work, but it seems to me that you ought to be able to swap out range categories vertically for horizontally at a 1-to-1 rate, because that's easier, right? Does that make sense? So if you want to move up one move category, that's a movement. If you want to move up and move forward one, that's 2 moves. Because the thing is here, you're bombing along at speed anyway. It's about your position relative to the other vehicle. Cool. So give me your drive roll. See if you're gonna try and pull away from them, and then tell me what you're doing. So that's a success, which you can't push, but that means you get to move an additional range category. So you could move 2 forward, you could gain altitude. Realistically, so that we can keep this within the range categories of the system, the next range, the next height above, the next altitude category above you is the ceiling for spinners, we'll say. So extreme from the ground is the ceiling for spinners.
Yeah, she just wants to. She's trying to weave through traffic and buildings and stuff just to put distance between them.
Cool. So you've moved forward.
I'm just gonna move forward. Yeah.
Is that 2 you've moved forward? Yes, it is. Cool.
Yeah.
Right. Excellent. So they're going to close the distance 1, and they're going to open up with weaponry, which happens to be a tactical missile.
Oh, sure.
I'm guessing that's not straight legal.
Detective spinners have.
No, this isn't a detective spinner. This is an unmarked vehicle.
I was asking. I'm trying to.
Oh, right. Sorry. So your detective spinner in this instance, you're lucky. It happens to be armed with, I think it's called autocannons. Let me make it available to you. Give me 1 second. Within the item list. So you should be able to open the item list, which is like the little briefcase icon at the top right-hand corner within Foundry. And if you click on that and go to items, you should see vehicle weapons, and you are armed with an autocannon.
I have nothing in my items directory.
Do you not? Oh, that's very annoying. Okay, so I will.
Is the autocannon front only, or does it?
It is
move?
Front only. Yeah.
Okay.
But spinners are incredibly maneuverable. You're facing away at the moment. You would easily, within a turn, be able to turn around, because this is abstract, right? Which is about discovery. So they're swooping in. They're not going at quite the same speed because they're trying to maintain a lock on you. You're jinking and weaving, trying to get away from that. And yeah, I think.
So the autocannon's on page 201 of the PDF.
Thank you.
How does that do? Wow, so they hit you, and
oh joy!
It's got a 9 on the vehicle critical. Okay, well, this is how. It's been nice knowing you, Fenna. Let's just look on the rollable tables quickly.
9.
Vehicle damage, critical vehicle damage. So you get armor. I don't know if you want to just roll. You've got armor. I don't think is triggered to roll automatically. So if you want to do that, 9 is a weapon disabled. A random weapon mounted on the vehicle is disabled. Reroll if no weapons are present. So that takes out your autocannons. The explosion blast wipes them out. The targeting system's gone. They're like smaller explosions rocking as the ammunition goes. You need to... Let's look at... So Detective Special has hull 4 and armor C. Armor C means you get to roll 2d8.
2d8? Okay.
Yeah, and it's the same. Have you got any skills that are 2d8? The reason I ask
yes.
is because then we get the nice little...
The pushes and stuff.
Yeah. I don't think you can push
yeah.
armor rolls, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. The...
Unicorns and... Success.
Yeah, I got strength and hand to hand will do that. So let's go hard. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah.
So I don't have weapons anymore. Cool. Let's go.
Well, I think also the hull damage has been exceeded, hasn't it? So,
Exceeded? Yeah. What happens now?
So this is a really good question.
The lack of weapons is your secondary problem right now.
On the plus side, the Deputy Chief isn't going to think you're the leak anymore. So, you know.
Well, because you think this is Kill Magazine going out to kill Fenna, do you?
Well, no, I mean, he's dead,
Right.
so when the next leak happens,
She's
I
not
know.
necessary.
Oh,
There are
no.
safety features within spinners.
So is
Fenna
this
may
what
survive. Let's just work out whether she survives or not before we start making judgment calls on it, right? We've been
crashes at
discussing
the
this later.
spinner is
So-
wrecked?
Yeah,
It
sorry,
crashes
everyone but
violently to-
Fenna and myself. Fenna, yeah. Yes, the spinner is wrecked. It crashes violently to the ground. All people inside suffer D3 points of falling damage plus 1 for each zone of altitude, mitigated by the vehicle's armor rating. You can also brace yourself for the hit by rolling mobility. Each success rolled reduces the damage by 1. So let me just tell you what the damage is going to be. I'll just roll a D3. Ooh, lucky. Okay, so that's 1, and then each range category above the ground. You were long range above the ground, weren't you? So that's long, medium, short. So that's 4 points of damage, mitigated by the vehicle armor, which we know is D8. So if you could do that strength roll again, sorry, hand-to-hand combat roll, just for the sake of getting that. So that mitigates it down by 1, so you are on 3 points of damage. And if you make your mobility roll, please, to see how much damage you take. Which you can push. Very nice.
Oh,
You take 1. It slams into the road, hits the corner of a building, spins out, and you're pressed against the inside of the cockpit, where it comes to a rest. And luckily for you, the spinner it tilts up on its side. You drop down, but you can release the scissor doors on your side. Your spinner is on fire, and it is possible that could set off its fuel systems, and don't actually know how they're powered. You don't know what could happen, but you can crawl out to safety. You have miraculously not killed any pedestrians, but you've come pretty damn close. There's certainly been a lot of property damage. Up in the skies above you, there's no sign of the vehicle that attacked you. So,
Like it doesn't seem to be coming down.
no.
Okay.
The PDF says it's combustion, so
Thank you.
probably hydrocarbon of some kind.
Yeah, it could be something like that. Could also be, I suppose, ethanol-based, biofuel-based, or something like that, being the future. Regardless, it's a great idea to get away from your spinner. It's unrecoverable.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell every people to back away, and I'm gonna immediately take out my KIA and call in to Novak and Percival that there was a spinner behind me, shot me down with a missile. I crashed, but I'm okay.
I'm going to take you across to the LA Central screen, just so we can quickly get a sense of where you are in relation to them.
Yeah, where did I crash?
So, Leah's apartment is... Where did I say it was? Give me 1 second. Oh, I've lost track of everything that I'm trying to...
Was it Sector 5, was it?
I think she's in Sector 5, but let me just make sure I'm right about that. It's in Sector 5. So, cool. Not far. So it's not far from the LAPD HQ. So you're actually not a long way away from each other. In fact, so LAPD housing. Can you see that? It's about here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be in that sort of area, and really the distance between you guys are really just near City Hall. You're just going past the courthouse, City Hall, taking that main road at the time. Fenna, you've crashed just here at the corner of a major thoroughfare. It's very, very lucky that no one's been killed in the crash, yourself included. Some outstanding rolls and luck at the end there. Here we see how lethal Blade Runner is as a game. Potentially, one more die roll and you'd be a 10 instead of a 9, I think you'd have been dead. Certainly you'd have been in a lot more trouble. Anyway, so you can stop and pick her up and then you're all in the same ground car.
Yeah. I also try and report it in because presumably that would be protocol, the officer under fire, etc.
Copy and dispatch. Dispatch, record and received. Is medical assistance required?
Fenna?
No. No, I'm fine.
Any details of the suspect vehicle? Fanny, you hadn't had a chat. They were behind you. They launched. You gunned it. They launched a missile. That's the limit of it.
No,
It was on a major road, though, yeah?
It's in air. Ain't no roads.
Yeah.
Where we're going, we don't need roads. Oh,
We don't
sorry,
need
that's the wrong.
Wrong IP.
Wrong franchise. That's the next
There
thing.
won't
we
be any
need to do
Esper or anything.
I mean, don't over rely on Esper and assume it's going to have it's not magic. It's a CCTV network. It just looks like magic to us technological primitives. So where are we? I am going to take you to Leah's apartment because I imagine.
Yeah, I'll swing around and pick up Fenna. Yeah.
Cool. It costs you some time, but it's not going to cost you a shift. So, Fenna. I'm doing it now, saying we're going to Fenna's apartment. Leah's apartment.
Not.
It's a studio apartment, Sector 5. It's very much. Don't know whether you can see what you can see or not.
Can't see anything right now.
Okay, so I will.
Black rectangle.
There's slightly blacker square in the black. That helps.
There you go.
Yeah.
You should all have vision now, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So you find you may not actually be outside at the door, so just hold 1 second. The elevator's out of order. It's a small apartment complex. This is very familiar territory to you, Nexus 9s. You kind of are all given this kind of an apartment in this kind of place. And for anyone wondering what it looks like, if you've seen Blade Runner 2049, Officer K lives in somewhere just like this. I'm a bit surprised you've not been called Officer L and Officer P, but I do like the fact that at this point in history, Nexus 9s are given a bit more personality and a name. It's only later they decide that was a mistake, right? So you're going to have to take the stairs. It's filthy and covered in graffiti. It's also clogged with other residents who all look at you with, very, very, very surly. They've got their angry stares at you. Angry stares on filthy stairs. By the time you get to the 13th floor, which is where Leah's apartment's based, you kind of already feeling the grime of this location. Skin job has been sprayed on Leah's door, and as you approach, a large and burly man who's leaning against the wall approaches you, seeing that you're paying attention to Leah's door. The overwhelming stench of cheap whiskey follows him as he approaches. You friends of that skin job?
Pull out my badge.
Yeah, you're friends of that skin job. You're not welcome here.
Are you saying that we have to leave? Are you going to make us leave?
Yeah, you know, none of us people want your kind. You're one of them, I can see it. All of you. All three of you.
I'll step forward. I'll step past Fenna and square up to him. LAPD, RDU conducting an investigation. I suggest you back up, sir, or you will be impeding an ongoing investigation and will be liable to the full effects of the law.
Is that a threat?
It's a promise.
Give me a manipulation check, please.
God damn it.
You might be successful this time. The dice might favour you.
Yeah, right. No unicorns, that's okay.
I got a right. This is my home. I got a right to stand up for it. I know my rights. I don't have to put up with this sick clone of humans, this disgusting, unnatural thing that's going on here. We can't have your kind. Get out of here, or I'll get the rest of the residents and we'll kick you out.
You live in a hallway.
Yeah, I live here, and I've got a right to defend it. I've got my Second Amendment rights as well in a minute, and I'll be enforcing them if you don't get out. Filthy skin jobs. There's a chorus of filthy skin jobs. He ain't leaving you alone. What are you going to do? He's not listened to your manipulation.
You two, go in the apartment.
Okay. There's a small hitch.
So I'm saying to those two to get into the apartment. Yeah.
Do you try to get into the apartment?
Yeah, I'll try.
Unfortunately, it's locked. By the way, do you have a search warrant?
Do we need one if they're an LAPD officer? They would have signed a waiver, wouldn't they? We all would have.
Would you? I've never heard of that. In this instance, and because it's not specifically noted in the module, I will not require you to have a search warrant to search Leah's apartment. However, this is a game that's basically part police procedural. So when we run, and I love Blade Runner, I'm obviously going to want to run more of these. In future, I would absolutely require you to have gone through the steps to get a search warrant to even get into her apartment, which can be done with a quick roll. But we'll not do it for now. It's a promotion point and all that. But we will assume that in this instance, Holden has already sorted you out a search warrant. But the door is still not opening. Back to Novak. He's right up in your face, Novak, screaming at the top of his lungs, and he's attracting attention. More people are beginning to come up the staircase, and you can hear a lot of anti-replicant slurs.
Look, pal, I got not a lot of love for the skin jobs myself. These two, they're the new ones. They're alright. They're doing a good job. Our investigation is to track down the bad ones. If you get in the way of our investigation, then you will leave more rogue skin jobs on the street.
Your efforts to manipulate him have already been unsuccessful. He's right up in your face. He's completely lost his cool. He's stabbing up and down with his finger about his rights and the fact it's his home, and he doesn't want any more of your filthy skin jobs in there. He isn't even listening to the idea that you're not one.
So step back or I will arrest you.
Well, he's doing this
for expressing his freedom of speech. Don't think you do. Might have to get.
Well, he's doing that. Can I try and open the door, because I believe that we now have the right with a search warrant, so
Yeah,
I'll
you
try
can
and
try.
overload.
The door doesn't open. You're going to need to either bypass the lock or force it.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, bypass it.
Cool, give me a tech roll. Whilst you're giving me that tech roll, Novak,
I'm going to punch him in the face.
Go for it.
Close hand-to-hand combat, right?
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh, what is going on today?
Oh, man. You swing at... Oh, right, okay, this is going to take a... Yeah, so you swing at him. It's just going to be a back and forth between you unless the others get involved or anyone else gets involved. And so he's going to take a pop shot back at you. he ducks your. I don't know what it is. Is it what kind of punch do you throw? Why and how is it that it's? Is it just mistimed?
It was a quick jab to his nose that he just sees coming and moves his head back out of range of.
Awesome. He follows that up with a wild haymaker, which turns out to not be that wild. In fact, we sure ought to look at the close combat rules just in case there's things like blocking and such, because we haven't used close combat yet.
We have not, no.
So give me one moment. And there's a lot of new things all at once. Close combat is on page 68 of the core rulebook. So there are special attacks, trips, pushing, pinning a weapon and pinning your enemy, grappling and all that, wrestling a handheld item, someone's grasp. So this is the way it works. I've done it incorrectly here. Close combat is dangerous even for you as the attacker. Therefore, a close combat attack against an active and aware opponent is resolved as an opposed roll using the skill for the weapon they are using. The winner of the because you can use certain firearms in close combat, like the subcompact, for example. So the winner of the opposed roll, even if it's the defender, hits the loser and inflicts damage equal to the weapon's base damage. If the opposed roll is a tie, no one is hit. Remember that only you, the attacker, can push the roll even after the defender has rolled. So critical hits are if you roll 2 or more than your opponent. So what does it say about the damage of just a fist? I think it's 1, right?
I'm pretty sure it's 1, yeah.
Yeah, so you take 1. So that's you trying to jab at him, and him stepping back and clocking you with a roundhouse punch, which connects. You take 1 point of damage. You're not wearing armor, are you? This isn't the kind of game where Blade Runners are wandering around in armor. Although you can get tactical vests. Then it's his turn, and he sees that having hit you, he's going to wail in and attempt to press the advantage. So it is a. He misses, but you get to make a roll in response. I don't believe he can push that because he's only a. Yeah, so you can push that if you want to.
No.
Cool. Okay.
It's only a D10 of
Sure, no worries. I mean, you clock him back, and his what you had to describe before. So he's come in. One roundhouse works. So he comes in with the other. So it's the left, and then he's swinging a massive right roundhouse punch to the head.
I see it coming a mile off, duck underneath it, and punch him in the stomach.
Oh, he comes forward, and you get like a belch of whiskey breath right in the face. But it obviously is affecting him as much as his clap to the side of your head. And we're back to you again. I'll quickly switch to Fenna and Percival. Percival, you managed to open the door, so the door is now open and you can enter the apartment. Fenna, are you going to join in with the fight for Novak? Or there is definitely some attention brewing down the stairs, but they seem to be more interested in watching at the moment. Or are you going to go into the apartment? Percival, I already know, is going into the apartment because he's kind of made it plain. He's
I'm going to stand in the
door.
You're
going to stand in the doorway.
Is he not going in?
That's up to him.
Well, I wasn't.
Do you need to move it?
No, I can move it now this turn.
Cool.
They appeared to have fixed it. No, because I was looking down at the lock. I just wanted to check. When I look up and I see this fight, I don't know who threw the first punch, do I?
No, but you do know Novak. You've spent enough time with him by now to kind of get that impression. He's a bit.
Well, at this point, it's technically assaulting an officer, so I will draw the gun and say stand down now.
Are you sure you want to escalate up to pulling a firearm on an unarmed civilian?
He's technically threatening the life of an officer as far as Percival's concerned.
Fair enough. When they see you start getting involved, you invite people from the stairwell who know everything about this situation is just wrong. And
Can I respond to Percival doing that?
You're in the middle of a punch-up. I mean, how do you know? You're trying not to get a punch in the face.
Yeah.
Fenna, you can respond to it.
I was thinking about doing this, and now I'm definitely doing this. I wanted to call in backup for potential riot support.
Okay. We will look at the.
Screenshots.
Basically, I just need crowd control.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy.
No, sure. But
numbers.
that is a request.
Yeah, I know.
To normally, like dispatchers, like this is dispatch. What is the nature of the your call? How can I assist you?
At LAPD housing, there seems to be civil unrest brewing. An officer is involved in an altercation.
Are you requesting backup?
Yes. I just need crowd control. Maybe just officers.
Crowd control is currently occupied at the scene of a crash. This is Fenna. Oh, you were in the crash yourself.
I was
crowd
in the
control
crash.
is currently occupied dealing with the fallout from your spinner crash.
That's going
They say
well.
it looks like the vehicle was maybe shot down. That was your report earlier. So they're going to be delayed by at least 15 minutes. Is there a firearm or weapons being drawn?
Percival, yes.
By the crowd?
Not yet.
May I advise you're a Blade Runner. Use your fists. You're not getting back up straight away. You can go.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to start picking on the civilians, yeah, you absolutely can. We'll see where this takes you. Fucking skin jobs. We knew they're just what they're like. They got no respect for humans. Get them. And one other person comes to charge up to you. I don't instantly have a token for them. Give me 1 second while I sort that out. It does list this is what's happening, by the way, if you more than one person gets involved here. So they've obviously anticipated that this would be something that players would do. Give me a second. I, of course, have managed to close down the... There we go. Right, so...
Now we know why Percival doesn't do field work.
Yeah.
I'm just sticking to the glorious tradition of the LAPD. This is what they do. So
Don't go visiting LA.
In Deep Crypt would like to disassociate themselves with Phil's comment.
Yeah, every opinion is... Not that I'm planning on visiting LA anytime soon.
We apologize
But-
to the entirety of LA.
Yeah, and the LA Police Department. He's joking. This is a spoof. We love the police, honest. Next time I get pulled over, remember that. No, sorry.
We care a lot.
Yes, we give. Yes. I'm just gonna copy this guy. So there's two of him, which is a bit funny because this guy's not injured. Does that affect you? No, it doesn't. Cool. So someone charges up the stairs, and you got a choice. You can shoot an unarmed civilian who's charging you, if you'd like, Percival. And we will roll you guys into, and we'll do it in an initiative because it has escalated. I'm just rolling you all in. And beginning combat. So, just as this situation is playing out with... I'll put him there. Just as this situation is playing out, Novak, you've got the drop at the moment. It's your turn to deal with this guy who's being obnoxious. Helpfully called obnoxious neighbour.
But yeah, I'll continue to punch him.
Go for it.
Come on. Ah,
You can push that at least once.
yeah.
So you take physical damage.
Yeah, that back's gone again.
Yeah, yeah, nice. And he answers that with it's a sneaky blow. He drops a punch into your ribs just as you're paralyzed for a moment by this twinge of back pain, and the punch thuds into your rib cage. Then it is him, and he grabs you by the pearls and comes in to headbutt you. Which, let's see how that goes. Oh shit. Well, okay, so go for it. I've got a suggestion for you. Yeah, so You've seen this, and it's just the perfect time for an uppercut or an elbow in the face or something, right?
Yeah.
So that's a critical, and let's just quickly look at what that means. You need to give me. Now, how do we do criticals with? It's all happened at once. Critical hits. If you roll 2 successes more than your opponent, you inflict a critical injury on your target, and the damage inflicted is increased by 1. Wow. Okay. Additional successes in excess of your opponent's roll will increase the damage and the severity of the critical injury even more. That's on page 71. This is obviously going to be crushing, right?
Yeah.
So it's based on your strength. So what's your strength score? What die is that?
It's a D8.
Roll a D8 then. Well, hold on. Actually, better than that.
I could just roll strength, I think.
Yeah, roll strength then, please. If it works.
Oh, it's only giving me the chance for disadvantage. Okay, I'll just roll a D8.
Yeah, because of course you never normally roll without, unless it's with disadvantage. Well, there is a table. Never mind. So it's a 3, which, looking at crushing critical injuries, is broken fingers. It's like where he's gripped you. As you uppercut him, you kind of can twist around, and the movement of your shoulder bends this finger against the way it's supposed to go, and there's a crackle of cartilage, and he screams as you break his fingers on his right hand, which gives him disadvantage to hand-to-hand combat, which is cool. And you've given him 2 points of damage. There we go. He is not having a good day. But it's the guy who's charging at Percival, so he's going to use his movement to move into engage range with you, Percival. And he is going to, now looking at how this works, he's going to try and take your gun from you, because you are still waving it around. In close combat, let's just quickly read that. So back on page 68. You can choose a special attack even as the defender. If you win the opposed roll, you inflict no damage, but instead achieve the desired result. So he's trying to bat your gun away. He's not trying to seize it. He's trying to knock it away from you, so that he can have a proper fist-to-fist fight with you. Let's see how that goes. It's an opposed roll, so if you want to give hand-to-hand.
Uh-huh.
Okay, you can push that if you
push
like.
that.
If he's still successful and your gun goes spinning away down the corridor, you are disarmed, and it is now your go.
Okay, I'll just check how grappling works.
So grappling is, again, page 68. If you grapple your opponent as a special attack in close combat, both you and your opponent fall to the ground. The opponent drops any weapon they were holding and cannot move. The only action they can perform is an attempt to break free, which is an action that succeeds if the opponent wins an opposed hand-to-hand combat roll against you. While you're grappling, the only action you can perform until you release your opponent is a grapple attack. This works as a normal unarmed attack, but your target counts as restrained and thus cannot defend themselves. Oh, potentially you get to do some more.
No, under the special attacks, do the pin your enemy in a tight clinch. So I'm basically trying to get him in a head.
That's grappling.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Go for it. He gets to resist this, of course, but you get to try and do it. It doesn't do any damage. Go for it. Wow, so you've got him. You've grappled him. So he is in a hold. You're both on the ground. That then puts us forward to Novak.
Try and take him out.
Go for it. Sorry, Fenna, for keeping you waiting.
Can't push that bit. Was that rolled at disadvantage, yeah?
Is what rolled at disadvantage?
Oh,
you're quite right. Sorry. Yes. Oh, well done, player. When the game runner forgets that someone's got broken fingers. So I will re-roll that and make it at disadvantage, because I have no idea of how it would otherwise. Nice. So yeah, you strike him. Well done. Nicely calling me on that. Go for it. So yeah, you clock him, and he's really blood is streaming from his nose. Perhaps you've given him a good hard punch in the face again. Sound about right?
Yeah. Is this over yet?
knee in the groin.
No. This is punching. This is
through
straight to the face.
The blood streaming down his face. He's saying, "A fucking skin job. I'm gonna get you." It isn't over yet. He's gonna come back at you, which is at disadvantage, but with one success. He's lucky, so you've got to answer that. So you beat him and you inflict one more point of damage, which breaks him. I don't recall off the top of my head if when you're broken you instantly get a critical. You take critical damage. I think you do, don't you? Don't you?
I don't.
Damage on page 70. Broken by damage if you drop to 0, so which is page 71. If you drop to 0 health, you are broken by the damage. This means you fall down and are taken out of action. You can crawl. You can't roll for any skills. You can't go below 0 health, but each further attack that causes damage triggers an automatic critical injury. So no, he's not taking a critical injury, but he is broken by damage. Cool. And he collapses. The other guy who's on the floor is like, all right, you skin job scumbag. Just let me up, I'll go away. So, it is down to you, Percival. He's not trying to break free. He's surrendered. Do you want to carry this on in any meaningful way, or are you done?
I'm going to arrest him. He just assaulted a police officer.
You're a Blade Runner. Your
He just assaulted a Blade Runner.
Very specific. You really want to waste time on this.
I ask him for his name and address so that I can arrest him at a later date.
Gives you a name and address. By all means, you can do this, but it will take you a shift if you're going to take him away and arrest him.
No, as far as I know, he's given me his legitimate name and address, so I shall follow that up in my downtime.
Have like ties, plastic ties on you. There's only one problem, of course, because you're not denied being a skin job, and there's still a building load of people who are clearly anti-skin job, so how you call this is up to you. You can certainly give him a name and an address, which appears to be...
Recover my gun, and I proceed with things, and when this case is over, I shall visit said address.
Awesome. So, this guy crawls back to his... Novak, are you taking any...
No, but loudly, as Percival picks up his weapon, I turn around to Percival and I say, "You pull a fucking gun on an unarmed civilian again, I'll shoot you my fucking self."
You punch an unarmed civilian again and I'll have to report you.
It's going in my report.
Cool. Well, I like this because this is going to go down the route with promotion points, and we'll deal with this in a moment. It sounds like both of you are reporting each other, right? We'll remember this so we can get promotion points at the end of the game. And there is a mechanic for reporting other officers, which will be interesting to see how it goes. Anyway, the apartment is open, and allow me to now turn to Fenna. Whilst they've been hosing down the decks with testosterone outside, you can Fenna is keeping it cool in the apartment, and you're able to have a look around. I will show you. So Fenna, you've entered into the apartment, and a somewhat battered, dishevelled Novak, and when is he not dishevelled? And slightly less dishevelled Percival. Maybe you've got a single hair out of place, Percival. I don't know. You tell us. Enter the apartment.
I fixed it in the mirror.
Yeah, awesome. Novak, do you want to close the door behind you or not? There are definitely gawkers. Yeah, cool. So I will show you the crime scene photograph. There you are. So the thing about these crime scene photographs is obviously there are some clues to be found within them. The apartment, first of all, this is an important detail, right? It's empty. It is a cramped little apartment. You've got a kitchen, bathroom, hallway, living room with a fold-out bed. There is not a... Oh, I've forgotten what it's called. The digi... ceiling mounted. That's it. Emanator. There's no emanator and there's no holographic sort of... yeah, but you're in here, and if you want to ask me anything about the photograph, we can talk through it.
Fenna would like to look at the picture that is on like the bedside table.
Bedside photo, sure.
Yeah.
It's a photograph showing a dark-haired child who looks a little similar to Leah herself, but you haven't got a super clear image of Leah at the moment. You've only got the one off her profile. I'll show you this. Give me 1 second.
Sandy desert behind.
Yeah, so you absolutely recognise this. Obviously, only Fenna's seen the whole. She's given you guys a blow-by-blow description of it and told you about the contents, but Fenna's the only one who can instantly recognise this as the child from that memory. It's a memory construct, and the background precisely matching that memory. And in fact, this is kind of like what the little girl looked like as she giggled in the memory at you and then ran away. I mean, if you wanted to check it compare the frame to the memory, you'd have to go back and do that materially. But it's so close that it's like if the memory were a film, this was a single frame of footage. It is in a frame.
I would like to remove it from the frame.
Okay. On the back of it, you see a stamp with the name Doc Badger. Give me a connections roll, would you?
Yep.
Nice. So this is interesting. You've heard his name crop up several times before, given what you've been up to as a doxy, given your intelligence operations and things. Doc Badger is a pawn shop owner down in Sector 5, and he's known as someone who can. Well, I mean, obviously it's a pawn shop, but there's all sorts of other things that he can get and sort out for you. He's known for, so for example, sometimes there are aftermarket repairs for Nexus 9s, upgrades, things like that. He doesn't do that himself, but he's got lots of connections. He's known as someone who is not exactly a fixer, but certainly he's connected, very well connected. And he has some technological skills as well, so he's not just a pawn shop owner. He's got access to other services, shall we put it that way, the full extent of which you don't really know, but you know enough to know that. And I'm giving you a bit of extra information to reflect your excellent result. So that's the photograph.
While Fenna's looking at the photograph, I would like to look in that butterfly tin. It's on the table by the kitchen door.
Sure, yeah, so it's a small table next to the sofa. There are some rather surreal looking butterflies, but they are beautiful. Obviously artificial. Give me a connections roll to see if you know anything about where artificial butterflies could be sourced.
So they're actual butterflies in a jar, not a...
They're absolutely real, they're not holographic, but they can't... They're a little bit psychedelic almost. They're very sort of odd looking. Yeah, so there are artificial butterflies are sold down on Anemoid Row. You know the location of a shop that does them. What's it called? So there's a lady who sells dragonflies, and it's not her who does the butterflies. You think that her shop is not too far away from where that one is, and you reckon if you went and asked her, she'd be able to direct you instantly to where it comes from. And you know, there's something interesting about the butterflies. You kind of feel that, it's strange how, I mean, you've never seen a real butterfly, but surely you've seen pictures of them, and this doesn't look like any species of butterfly you've seen. There's something, the proportions are slightly off, the colours don't quite match, the way they move, all of it doesn't match the video footage you've seen. It's like a dream of a butterfly, maybe. You're leaving them there, or are you taking them with you?
I'm going to take them with me.
Fair enough. Anything else?
So while those two are doing that, I will check the books, including the one by the vase.
Okay.
See what she's reading.
You come through some of the books. I mean, lots of them are to do with procedural manuals. There's some classic novels, but there is a book that's open. It's a collection of poems by someone called William Blake. The page it's open to is this one.
Tiger.
It is indeed Tiger. And I happen to have a personal. I say a personal connection. It's not like I know William Blake. I mean, this poem has some meaning for me in my own life to do with my father. So I find it quite potent. But would anyone like to give us a? Well, I tell you what. Since you're the one who found it, Percival, would you please give us a meaningful replicant reading of the poem Tiger? Bit of culture.
Tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night. What immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry? In what distant deep or skies burnt the fire of thine eyes? On what wings dare he aspire? What the hand dare seize the fire? And what shoulder and what art could twist the sinews of thy heart? And when thy heart began to beat, what dread hand and what dread feet? What the hammer, what the chain? In what furnace was thy brain? What the anvil, what dread grasp dare its deadly terrors clasp? When the stars threw down their spears and watered heaven with their tears, did he smile his work to see? Did he who made the lamb make thee? Tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night, what immortal hand or eye dare frame thy fearful symmetry?
Who's the tiger, and whose is the hand that dare frame it? Anyway, a clue to her state of mind, perhaps. Otherwise, the kitchen has lots of empty bottles. I think Novak was in there at one point. They were mostly vodka and very little food. As far as you can tell, that's about the extent of it. There's no... It hasn't been occupied for a little time. You can feel that about the place. It's not, the bed has been... The fold-out bed has been stowed. Pulling it out, it's not been properly made. The place isn't a mess because there's not enough in it to make it a mess. But it's cold in here. Thought occurs, there is the shower. It does contain, you get billed for your decontaminated water. Might be
that's where I was going to go. Would there be records of water use? Is there a record on the door entry system? Is that something that would keep a record? I don't know.
Checking the door entry system is easy enough to see. Unfortunately, that's been scrambled by Percival's hacking of it. He kind of had to do that. But the water shows that it's not been used for the last, 36 hours? Just over that. So it would put the last time it had been used as before the nightclub shooting. In other words, she's not been back here. At least if she has been back here, rather. She hasn't been back here and taken a shower. Or used any water that you can tell. So that's...
Right.
If there's anything else you want to ask about, anything else you want to check out about the place, an attempt to canvass for witnesses...
I guess the same with the kind of remains of food on the table. They look like they've been there a couple of days, maybe.
I mean, this is the thing. All food these days is mostly artificial protein farms, and then it's sexed up with some spices and such. It's a bit difficult to tell for sure. It doesn't mould at the same rate. It's one of the advantages.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, there's nothing current. There's very little food here. It's like she seems to have mostly consumed vodka whilst she was here. Maybe a couple of bottles of bourbon or something like that.
So I have, Fenna, Percival. I just have some questions about, like, what it's like to be you, I guess. This all speaks to a desperate state of mind. Somebody who's drinking, not eating. That poem, first time I've read it, but it certainly says something about a state of mind, right? Does this feel like normal replicant behavior? Is this something that, do you have any kind of controls on this kind of behavior? Are you programmed to be a certain way? Or do you have all the normal vices? Like UN9s are quite new. I know the N8s, passed for human.
Point of basic Blade Runner knowledge that you've got because you're an old timer who's used a Void Kampf machine before. You could run an N8 on a Void Kampf, and it would be difficult. You'd have to go well over the 100 cross-reference questions for a late model at N6. But you could still eventually pin them down if you knew what you were doing. If you had the time, if you could keep running it, you would eventually bottom out the fact that they were not human. N9s are known to simply be impossible to catch with a you cannot VK them.
Right. Okay.
You VK them, they come back as human.
Okay.
So that's an insight maybe into their emotional capacities that you would have, as all of you would know that, but specifically Novak because of your experience as a old timer.
Okay, cool.
Anyway, Percival had an answer. My apologies for that.
If you're asking, this is how we live, this is not how I live. I also haven't failed 2 baseline tests and been reprogrammed.
Recalibrated. Sounds
recalibrated.
Sounds so much better.
And I don't want to pry into your specifics, but like Leah's core memory, that was pretty traumatic shit, right? That was like are yours like that?
Yes. I have a memory with a Leah. Maybe it's the same Leah, maybe it's not. But it also involves death. Yes.
In fact, saying that...
You don't have to tell me what it is, but...
Saying that, Percival, you take a point of stress. The trauma kicks in.
It's designed to
you
make
get to
me
roll insight, to resist that, of course.
Oh. Okay, I'll try.
Which you do. Hey, it's a memory you've lived through plenty of times. It happens every time you feel like not doing as you're told.
It's designed to make me pliant. It's designed to make me question what I do that would make me think that.
That's kind of what Tyrell said. The traumatic ones make us obedient.
And yours is traumatic as well, Fenna.
I don't know. Lately, I've only been able to think about things a lot more recent. I don't know. All of this, I think our capacity to be like you, it's a lot more nuanced.
Fenna, I'll remind you that Lilith Tyrell she didn't say she had created your memory. It's up to you as player. I'm not going to dictate what your replicant implanted memory is, but I would suggest to you that it does not have to be traumatic. That's your choice whether it is or not. So.
From what I can think about, no, my memories were just normal enough that I don't think about them all the time.
Okay, thank you thank you for being so upfront with that.
There is one difference. Maybe it means something, maybe it doesn't. I'm not human, but in my memory, there is nothing I can do. I'm a child. It's something that happened to me. In the memory that Fenna described seeing, it was something that happened to a child. It was something that happened to someone they should have been able to protect. I was not meant to be able to protect. I was lucky. I don't know if that would make a difference. I don't. Children, obviously.
Percival, do you have a look at the photograph of that Fenna has found by Leah's bedside? Is that the same? Does it look similar to Leah from your memory?
It does, but I also occasionally, when I'm particularly stressed and I see a child, it will sometimes flick that memory, so I do not necessarily trust that. But yes, it does look like it.
Interesting.
Okay, well, I think we need to take these butterflies, the picture, the book, log them as evidence, keep them with us for our investigation. I want to find out more about these butterflies. They're weird, right? They're weird looking. Yeah. Sorry, I'm processing this stuff. This is the first time I've worked closely with any of you guys, and it's making me question some assumptions I'd made.
There's also something I would like to speak to you about. As I understood procedure, what I did to be prepared to defend was what I was trained to do, but I have the impression that you see the matters differently. I would like to, at some point, iron out and optimize our working relationship so that we are on the same page when we're in that kind of situation.
Yeah, I bawled you out loudly as more of a message to everybody else in the building. But also to you. We're Blade Runners. We don't shoot unarmed civilians. We need a warrant. We need an order to execute a replicant. You know, we do not go to our guns straight away. Yesterday was a different situation. We were being attacked by people we suspected were replicants, hence the firefight. These are unarmed, angry civilians. Pulling a gun is only going to inflame the situation, and kind of arresting them is beneath us. It's not what we're here for. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of resources. But I also think this magazine's probably got people riled up. This kill article's got people riled up today. So anti-rep sentiment is going to be higher than it is normally. Yeah, that situation, we deal with it with our fists if we have to.
From my perspective, I don't know. They're unarmed.
That's...
So would you rather I took the risk that you might be shot or killed in that kind of situation?
Don't see a weapon, they're unarmed.
Understood. I will let you take that risk.
It's the risk I've been taking for 16 years. And yeah, I've been shot. I've been stabbed. Stuff happens. But we're accountable to our higher force.
Understood.
So, this is the end of the second shift of the day, the afternoon shift. We're now into the evening of day 2. What are your plans before you have to look at the possibility of downtime again? Whilst we look at that, whilst you think about that and give me an answer, I will just quickly double check a ruling about damage and healing damage.
Just one more thing on that end of that conversation. Percival, before you spoke up there, I was going to recommend you for a baseline test. I don't think that's necessary right now, as you had a discussion with me. Just everything's going in my report exactly as it happened. I expect you to do the same, and any consequences are any consequences.
But
Okay. Health you'll heal 1 point because it's obviously relevant for Novak. I think only at the moment. Oh no, Fenna as well. Sorry. So humans heal 1 lost health per shift of downtime. Replicants heal 2. There are other.
It's only downtime, right?
It's only downtime, so you won't have healed any anything from that. As for stress, I believe it works the same way. Yeah, so again, both of you only recover 1 point of resolve in a downtime. There are, of course, other things you can do. You've got signature items for resolve issues, and as regards health, you can spend a shift getting medical care to increase your recovery. You can take painkillers and such. And obviously there's interactions with key memories and such, which we'll remember for promotion points and humanity points at the end. So, shift 3 of the day, in the evening, when the city starts to really come alive. What do you want to do?
I wanted to look into Doc, the guy on the back of the
Doc
thing.
Badger, so you can travel to Doc Badger, sure. Is anyone going with you, or are you going on your own to Doc Badger? What is everyone else doing? Percival, how about you? Or Novak, if you've got an instant answer.
Yeah, I want to go and see Skylar.
Okay, so you're going to go see Skylar.
And I think it's probably better that I go on my own, given
The replicant
anti-rep sentiments. Yeah.
So you're going to the kill office. Awesome.
Yeah.
I'll take Animoid Row then.
What are you doing there?
Asking about the butterflies and asking if anyone's seen Leah and with her mugshot. Try and piece down her movements. And also if anyone's seen Tyler. That's his name. With his mugshot.
While you're about, you two, try and not tell everyone we're cops all the time.
Should I punch them first to break the ice?
If you need to.
Understood. Human behaviour is still a mystery to me.
Yeah, cool. So what are we going to do first? Right. This is a little complicated, but this is the joy of role-playing, right? So I think I will deal with... So you're all at the moment in a ground car, but I will say that part of calling into dispatch, someone can get over with the detective specials become free, and you can access that. One of you can still be in the ground car. Let's just quickly look at the map, shall we? Central Los Angeles.
I mean, Fenna, do you want the ground car after your...
Yeah, I don't want to get shot down with a missile again. That would be nice. Thank you.
So Animoid Row is in Sector 5. Doc Badgers is also in Sector 5. And...
I'm not sure I want to be in a car with you. You might be bad luck. But...
Kills over here.
Yeah, Kill is in Sector 1. So perhaps two of you can go, and perhaps the two of Fenna and Percival can go off in the ground car to Sector 5. Appreciate what Percival's just said, but there's only one detective special available right now. And then Novak can head over to Kill in the first sector. So who wants to go first, or whose turn is it? Perhaps that's a fairer question to be the first up on our little escapades. Should we deal with... Is it Fenna and Doc... Oh, is it Percival's turn to go first?
I think it's Percival.
Okay.
again, I'm going to allow everyone to have vision on the screen. Guys, can you just move your... So obviously Damien's the vision for our viewers. Fenna, you're welcome to follow along as well, but obviously the interactions here are only going to be through your KIA units. And I will assist you by telling you that the dragonfly, the insect lady that Novak, I think it was Novak, remembered the location of is over here. Oh, I don't know, let's just check your vision. Yeah, can you see the ping over here, far left side of the screen? Little round kiosk. I'll let you move. Novak's already there. I'll bring you over. There you go. So you head over to the dragonfly. There's a small lady. She's got the sort of she looks sort of South American. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to do a Peruvian accent, but she has a Peruvian accent. Yes, how can I help you? Are you looking to buy insects?
Possibly. I was taken by some insects that I saw at a friend's colleagues, and I was wondering if you perhaps had any more in stock. And I removed the jar. So
you've got the butterfly jar with you. Cool. She said, this is very fine work, but I'm afraid I don't have any of these. I have dragonflies, I have scorpions, I make jewellery as well. There is a scorpion in a box on the counter, kind of is moving over towards you within its box. You could stroke it if you liked. Never seen one. Okay.
So that is fascinating, and I would obviously like to return, but at the moment I have this task. Would you perhaps know if anyone here might have these butterflies? And of course I would recommend to everybody what an excellent stall you had too.
Well, that's very kind. If you're sure you're not interested in dragonflies, which are much nicer than butterflies, that looks like look like Aurelian's. I think he's called Aurelian, or is he the Aurelian? Aurelian. His shop is called the Aurelian. It's over there, just behind the 7-star prawns. They do good prawns, by the way.
Thank you.
There's a. Can you see the butterfly? You can zoom right in. You can see there's a holographic butterfly with a sign under it saying the Aurelian.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to head over.
Nice.
Could I trouble you for just one more thing? And I show her the picture of Leah. My friend's unfortunately missing, and we're trying to find her. Have you perhaps seen her?
Oh, she pretty lady. No, I haven't seen her. This lady, but perhaps if you want to buy some jewellery for her, I could. I have some nice dragonfly earrings if you'd like. They
when I find
very
her,
attractive. Green.
When I find her, I'll bring her back to the store.
Oh, well, I hope. Good luck finding her.
Thank you. And I go to the other one, which I think is... No, that's Saber 2.
Okay. So, you... Right. Can you see where you're going? Butterfly.
I wouldn't go that far.
Right. Novak has got the drop on you there slightly. Not that he's actually there. So you're approaching the place. You see the butterfly sign, and the door has an open sign on it. You can just make out there's a man inside.
Okay, I'll enter in.
Cool. You can do. Do you need me to do it for you? You can click the door and open it.
Yeah, seems to have hit the wall.
Okay, so if you open the door, you can go in, you see. This is Foundry. You have to get used to
This is a high-tech stuff.
Yeah, we use so many different VTT setups. So in the kiosk sitting behind the a desk is an old man, and I will reveal to you a mugshot for him. Give me 1 second. Okay, here you go.
Thank you. Is he blind, or is that the drawing?
It does indeed appear to be blind. 2 eyes that are maybe not white in colour, but grey, somewhat yellowish, perhaps. And when you open the door, he says, "Oh, come in, cup of tea for you. Welcome to my old shop. I can hear you. Here, there's a person here. Hello."
Hello. Good evening.
"Oh, is it you, my boy?"
Yes.
"Oh, you've come back to visit your old grandfather. This is very nice. What can I do for you?"
Percival doesn't know this isn't a human form of address, so he's just going to roll with it. He's like, "Oh, hello, grandfather. I bring a friend of mine obtained some butterflies from you, and I was just wanting to inquire about them." And I put them on the table.
I neglected in the hunt for his mugshot to describe the insides. Let me just quickly do that. So it's a small shop. Obviously, it's got the sign of a butterfly outside. Inside the stand are hundreds of butterfly jars, large and small. And looking at them, they have the same sort of sense to them of like the colours a little bit too bright here and there, and wings just as strange. I mean, they just look a little bit odd. Although you've got very little experience of butterflies to really know that. Yeah. "Oh, you want to ask about butterflies, my boy? Yes, I can make butterflies. Butterflies, I remember them. Butterflies almost from my dreams."
Could you tell me about these? And I point to the jar.
He takes the jar in his hands and this feels like one of my jars. Yes. You can feel there's the butterfly mark on the top, and as you look, there is ever so slightly a sort of embossing of a butterfly. He's running his fingers along the top of it.
My friend who purchased these butterflies from you, unfortunately she's gone missing, and we're terribly worried about her. And anything you could tell me about her or what she was doing here would help us find her. We're really concerned.
Has Kathy left you again, my boy? I always told you she was no good. Has Kathy left you again? I'm so sorry.
It's Leah, actually.
Leah. I don't remember Leah. Is she a new one of your girlfriends, my boy?
Very tall woman. Very, strong. Do you perhaps remember her? She would have come here recently.
I don't remember any tall, strong women. No. Your grandmother, she was strong and tall. Yes, maybe I make butterflies. Do you want a butterfly, boy?
No, thank you. And I take the jar back and say, "I will visit you again, grandfather." And I walk out and see if I can see any kind of Esper recording nearby.
You're going to check. So there might be. So the way the map is set up, you've not got like huge access to understanding where like alleys and things are like. But there's sort of narrow passageways here and there between buildings you can get into. There might well be one. You start to explore the place, and as you're just over here, out of the shadows looms a large figure. You recognise it instantly as Styles.
Has he seen me?
When I say he's looming out, he's looming right on top of you. He's absolutely seen you and is on you. Give me 1 second while I stick him on the map. If we meet again, you've got time to listen.
We'll have plenty of time.
He's got the drop on you, just so you know. So if you want to start going down the violent route, bear in mind that's the case. He's effectively ambushed. The woman you're chasing, she's long gone. You're one of us. You must have realised. This isn't
I
right.
was
Hunting your own.
born knowing who I am.
Of course.
I'm an
Most of us are.
LAPD officer.
So you're telling yourself for the moment, but there's no more wretched soul in all the universe than one who turns on their own kind. Now, we can make something of this now, but I'm warning you to back off and leave her alone. Anything you want to say to him? Anything other response?
May I ask you when you decided to stop turning on your own kind?
I don't turn on my own kind, I protect them.
When did that decision occur? Because you were not made for this work, were you?
I was made to be a slave, just like you've been made to be a slave.
So at some moment you turned. When did you turn?
The first time I saw one of our kind being abused by one of theirs.
Interesting, thank you.
Think about it. Perhaps if you change your mind and see the light, there's hope for you.
If you would give me a real address or some means of contacting you, I could notify you when I do change my mind, assuming I do.
We don't need it. We know who you are, Percival. We've got our eyes on you. If you
You're
change
very
your
secure.
mind and you're genuine, there might be a place for you. Think about it. He steps back into the shadows. But it's not entirely clear where he could have gone to, because he's come right up onto you, kind of behind you. And he's back down the alleyway. And then he's just gone.
I get the KIA out and notify the others. I just had a encounter with our friend Styles on Animoid Road. He's warning us to back off of Leah.
Did he give you a reason to back off? Like the shooter?
It was heavily implied that he would kill me, but he did not make that explicit, and since your point about unarmed civilians, I did not draw on it. As he did not appear to be armed.
Yeah. It would have been you would have been killed had you drawn on him. Before backup could get there. Did you ask him about the shooter? Did you ask him if we're going to back off, how about he gives us the shooter?
He was not present that long. He vanished.
So bear in mind, whilst they say he's disappeared and you can't find where he is, this isn't a magical situation. You're accepting the telling he's gone.
I'm going to explore down after I call it in.
Okay.
Procedure in case I get killed. They need to know he was here.
No worries. Give me an observation, but you can do it at disadvantage because you took a little time. So his cut trailer's already rapidly going cold. Cool.
Okay.
That said, he's a big guy, and you realise why it seemed like he disappeared. Because the alleyway, there's a door to a building. We'll just step off from Animoid Road for the moment because it's not actually on the map, as it were, and I'll take you to the main map. So you're in a position to tail him. You are going to need to be stealthy. There's a door that leads into another stall which is selling odds and ends, bric-a-brac from a previous age, and it's quite obvious that you could just open the door and go through it. There's a movement just ahead of you. You're going to need to make.
I'll tell the others I'll pursue him, but in case I am killed or whatever, he was here on the KIA.
So you're going to treat it like a phone, basically like making a phone call type thing.
Yeah. And then when I finish the call, I'll pursue.
Again, you're being very cautious to keep them informed, but I'm going to give you disadvantage on your stealth for that. I'll take the stealth roll now, please. Oh, amazingly, you somehow managed to tail him without being picked up. Where that's going to take you will be interesting, and we'll go across to someone else for a moment. Who's next? Is it Fenna or is it Novak? Fenna, you were going to go to Doc Badger's, weren't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I go with Fenna at Doc Badger's.
Okay. So this doesn't have a map. What I'll do is give you a mugshot of Doc Badger. Go. And it's over in the 5th sector. It's a small pawn shop. It's cluttered space filled to the brim with everything from useless knickknacks to some really advanced tech. All of it's dusty and well used. You approach, you open the door. Doc Badger says to you, he doesn't speak in English to start with. He's speaking like, the kind of street talk with specific extra. I mean, you all know that there's like this kind of street talk, which is kind of mix of Far Eastern languages, a bit of Hungarian. In his case, there's possibly some Swahili tied in. You don't fully understand what he says to you, but after you give him a sort of puzzled look, he switches over and says, "Oh, welcome to my shop. Come in, come in, come in. What can I help you with?" He's very cheerful. You kind of instantly take a liking to him. Big smile. Very friendly.
I was just running an errand for my boss. I was looking for, I don't know, very specific parts or something. I can't remember everything. I think it's been gentle.
If you need particular parts, I'm sure I can help find them. But you do need to tell me what it is you need. What is it you want?
Well, that's the thing. I can't remember. What stuff do you do here?
It's a pawn shop. I have all sorts of things that you might find and need. I've got some old technology. I've got some.
This seems really weird.
Tech.
Just like I feel like they said something about a kid, so it feels weird that I'm in a porn shop.
You want toys? I've got some toys. I've got some animoid toys if you want. Gives you a big grin. Just tell me what it is you're looking for, and we can do business.
How specific do these toys get?
Well, like, for example, I have an animoid chimp that can play musical instruments. It has like a little fez, and it has cymbals that it can clack together. It's quite fun. And there's also some old toys I picked up a long time ago. There's a couple of generals, one that's like a teddy bear, and the other that's I think he's meant to be some kind of dictator from the previous century. They're only small, but they unfortunately keep on saying the same thing. Good evening, JR. But I don't know who JR is. Maybe we could reprogram them. Are those the kind of toys you want? Got some real nice toys here. And other things. But I don't sell weapons.
I'm gonna produce the picture of a girl. Do you, what kind of... Would someone come in here if they wanted, I don't know, a toy for a girl? Is that...
Oh, she's, a very beautiful child.
I'm then going to flip the photo over so that it shows his name.
Yes. Well, yes, sure. Yes, I can see we're not talking about toys now. You're talking about information, right?
I guess so.
It's bad for business for me to talk about my other customers.
How much would it cost? If I wanted...
Do you have
maybe that's what I'm shopping for.
Or if you have some interesting piece of gear you can trade me, or I suppose nothing talks like Chinyan. You can also, of course, take the option of pushing him a little harder.
Yeah.
Just because he seems friendly.
Does it mean he's... yeah. I found your name in a picture of a... This was in the apartment of someone who's missing, and they're connected to you. You might have seen the news article, killer replicant killer, something like that.
I don't want anything to do with that. You can make a manipulation roll, or you can offer him some money, or
see if this works. Good at this. I like keeping my own money. You don't need it. Roll.
Wow.
Whoa.
Like, so you leaning on him, and he's just like, you can see his eyes getting wider and wider as he realizes that you're probably connected, and that this would be really bad for business, being connected with any kind of information about, replicant killers, and if you're hunting them, he doesn't want to be implicated in any crime. Okay. Yes, there's a lady who came in here a few weeks back. She said she was Nexus 9, and she wanted to make a Stelline scan. So yes, I did that for her. She reviewed her memory implants, and because I've got a Stelline scanner here. It's not often I get to use it. Not a great deal of interest on the street. It's been sitting there gathering dust. Anyway, for a small fee, I used it on her, and we had a look at her. We got her to have a look at her memories, and she wanted a hard copy printout of a slice of the memory implant. That's the image of that young girl. She said it was her daughter, but I mean, it's a implanted memory, so it can't be real, right? She seemed very upset. In fact, I would say distraught.
Did she say anything about what she was gonna do afterwards with the information?
She was just holding that photograph and crying over it. Surprised it doesn't have tears on it. I sold her a nice frame. Well, in fact, I gave it to her. I felt sorry for her, but that's all I can say. She didn't say any more. She left my shop, and I haven't seen her since. This, just to point out, the shop is, say there was anything you wanted to get, pretty much you can collect anything that's not a weapon. There's all sorts of private purchases you could make in this shop. It's quite obvious that he's not stocking the Stelline scanner as like a specific service to replicants. It's just a useful bit of tech that he's picked up from somewhere. There's all sorts of, like he's got an Esper device, for example. He's also got certain scanners that would allow you to, that kind of look like they would fit in nicely in the RIT lab.
I mean, if he has anything interesting, I guess.
I'll let you have a little think about that.
Yeah.
Effectively, if you want to make any private purchases here, if you look at anything in Chapter 6 of the core rules,
Yep.
There's going to be that kind of stuff available. So if there's something that you've had a burning desire to pick up, the only thing I'd say is he doesn't stock weapons. Whilst you're doing that, I'm going to move over to Novak, who said he was going to the kill office, right?
Kill office, yeah, which is a
Aptly named.
name
Right?
that fills me with joy.
So this is Sector 1. You're there. I'm going to allow, because it's a bit unfair that everyone else hasn't got a view, so I'm going to let them be present, although they're not. They're present on KIA only, albeit I assume that Percival's KIA is muted, so there's not going to be like any audio, but you can obviously like send text effectively. Cool. So you're at the entrance to Kill Magazine, Sector 1.
Open the door if I can.
You can step inside. There is a secretary who looks up, and there's at least, you can see through behind an office, at least a dozen people working here. It's a smoke-filled and dimly lit office. Kill Magazine covers are plastered all over the walls, and very quickly you can see someone who, from the way he's behaving, surely has got to be the boss, sort of shouting at people and waving his hand. I'll give you a mugshot of him so you know who you're looking at. This must be Yella Skylar. The secretary says, "Can I help you, sir?"
Can't see that mugshot.
Does it not come up?
No.
Give me a second, I'll do it again.
No worries, sorry.
Don't be sorry, it's good to be told.
Oh yeah, he looks exactly how I expected him to look.
It is available in your journal, by the way. Sorry if I set up Lilith Turrell. Maybe I clicked the wrong link. I didn't think I did. Anyway. So the secretary says, "Sorry, are you? Can I help you with something? We're very busy getting out the next print."
I'm here to see Mr. Schuyler. He's expecting me. I'll just go through
any appointments, Dal. But
he's expecting me. Trust me.
Before she has a chance to really stop her, there's Schuyler, and he's coming through and saying, "Hello, can I help you?"
Oh, yeah, somewhere we can have a chat in private, please, Mr. Schuyler. I think you're expecting me. I think you know who I am.
Well, I don't think I know you at all, but if you'd like to come through to the conference room, we can have a discussion. Have you got a lead for me? Is this what it's all about? Sorry about the dodgy accent, but I'm taking an idea of where he might be from.
The conference room.
Yeah. He takes a seat, he offers a seat across from you. Well, what can I offer?
Sit down, light up.
He does the same.
You may not know me by name, but you've certainly written about me in this morning's edition.
You're a replicant?
No.
Well, then I don't know what I've written about. What are you trying to say?
Some information that you had in that article. Some information that you might have for me. I am looking into the situation at the Snake Pit.
You're one of these Nexus 9s?
No.
I know my rights.
As human as you. Possibly slightly more human.
Really? More human than human? I've heard this phrase before, many a time. But,
no, just more human than a scumbag newspaper editor.
So you're investigating this shooting of one of the skin jobs by another of the skin jobbers, is that right?
Yeah, in a venue that you were at
at
the time when you were there.
So you would confirm that it was one skin job shooting another? Excellent. We'll run that tomorrow.
No.
What would you say your name was?
There was a shooting. I can confirm that there was a shooting.
What did you say your name was?
And that you were there.
Yeah, I see some credentials before I give you any information. You understand how this works?
I do, yep. But you can confirm you were there.
Tell you what, you scratch my back, I'll maybe think about scratching your back.
Okay. I'll show him my badge.
Yeah. I may have been there.
Can you tell me what happened?
Well, there was a brawl. So who's your main suspect?
And who started the brawl?
I don't think you understand how this works. You give me something, I give you something. We'll call it a trade.
You haven't given me anything I don't know yet.
There
was some anti-replicant sentiment being shouted by a group that you were seen with, and you're not shy about your opinion about skin jobs.
No, they're a plague.
Still, a crime has been committed and I have a job to do. So, who started the brawl? Assuming you give me something.
Did this woman who shot the other replicant, she failed any baseline tests?
So you saw a woman shoot the victim. Can you describe the woman? Like you just did.
You've seen our article. I've told you that that's what our article... You know what our article says. You've read it. We say one skin job shot another skin job.
Did you see that happen?
Did she fail her baseline test?
I'm not at liberty to discuss confidential information.
Then I suppose I don't
ongoing
remember.
Investigation. Do you remember who started the brawl?
I'm afraid it's all a blank. But, you know, like the rest of our readership, if you'd like to see tomorrow's edition, we're going to run a special. We don't normally get out 2 copies in as many days.
And where are you getting your information from?
People who give me information.
If I was to offer you information from the source of the investigation at the end of the investigation to avoid compromising an ongoing investigation, how would that sound? Would you hold off your special until you had all the facts?
I've got plenty of facts already. But what I'd think about doing possibly is this, that if you give me some information now, I promise not to print it until your investigation is complete. How about that?
I'm not sure I trust you.
Trust is hard to come by.
So I can tell you that the chief person of interest at the moment in the investigation is a Nexus 9.
Confirmed. Fantastic. Well, yes, I saw her. There was a brawl. There was this big albino started to argue with us. He's someone called Styles. I've seen him around Animoid Row. He didn't like the fact that we were telling it as it was, that these disgusting replicants are up there parading themselves. They ought to be run out of the city, run off the earth. We should be back to prohibition. Kill them all, that's what I say.
You are entitled to your opinion as a citizen.
I am.
Why are you in somewhere like the Snake Pit that is known for its skin job artists, if I can use that word in its loosest sense?
I was there with friends. Someone else decided where we were meeting. And, yeah. That's why I was there. To meet with my friends.
You're saying this Styles started the brawl?
He didn't like what we were saying, that there were useless skin jobs dancing on the stage. He didn't like the fact that we were drinking and having a good time. Mocking his particular preferred species. So, who are you working under? Is it Deputy Chief Holden, by any chance?
I think you know. I'm in the RDU.
And you're reporting to Wallace about everything, I take it?
I'm doing my due diligence as an officer.
I'll take that as a yes, then, officer.
So you saw this woman shoot the victim?
During the brawl, a couple of Blade Runners intervened. Man pulled his blaster, aimed it at the albino, was going to arrest him. Out of nowhere, skin job Blade Runner pulls her gun. Shot her partner in the chest. And she ran out into the street. Got into a metro cab. I had seen her before. She often came to the Snake Pit to drink, and I'd kind of spotted her as probably one of your skin job officers. Shows it just exactly what happens when you let them loose. Who else could be capable of such carnage? Your turn.
I don't think you have to be a skin job to cause carnage. So, this wasn't your first time in the Snake Pit. You frequent there regularly enough to have seen her before.
I think it's your turn to give me some information.
Yeah. So we have identified Styles as another person of interest. And when we attempted to apprehend him, we were beset upon by some of his co-conspirators in whatever this conspiracy is.
Replicants. Skin jobs, right? That's what you're trying to tell me, that you think he's one of them?
Potentially.
I'll tell you something. I've got no less. Sounds to me like you're doing your job as a Blade Runner, hunting down these skin job scum. These people, they're called the Replicant Underground. You must have heard of them.
Yep.
Well, they have some kind of hideout. Maybe a safe house or something near Anemoid Row. I've got my suspicions. There's an old man there who sells butterflies. I have my suspicions about him, but maybe he's human. There are some filth who betray their own kind. Must say I had you pegged as one of them, but perhaps since you're willing to talk to us, perhaps you're all right. Novak, was it?
Novak, yeah. I'd prefer if my name wasn't presented in any articles.
You can trust me. I won't let you get in any trouble, Novak.
A source close to the investigation, perhaps.
Sure. And perhaps in future, if you'd like to earn some Chinyan, you can give us some more information. Is there anything else you want to tell me? I'll make sure that our readership gets it. Are you investigating on your own?
No, I have a couple of other Blade Runners with me.
They're human.
Off investigating their own leads at the moment. They are other investigators attached to the RDU.
So they are skin jobs. Huh? If you were to tell me about something they'd done that was wrong, and I published it, that could help our cause greatly.
Both officers have presented themselves in exemplary fashion so far in this investigation. I did not know them before yesterday.
It is always the same. The blue wall gets erected. But if you change your mind...
Well, you've expressed disdain for those who turn upon their own kind.
Yes, humans who turn.
Cops are cops. If you're not cops, you're little people, right?
So a few police officers have tried to tell me in my time. They'd ever liked it when their faces appeared on the front page. Is there anything else we want to discuss, or information you'd like to share?
This butterfly man.
Aurelia.
Think he's connected?
I don't know, but I've heard it said that, he has some sympathies in that direction. I haven't had a chance to speak to him myself. It's not my.
And have you heard of any other incidents with this Replicant Underground recently?
Not recently, but they are always... It's impossible to say. There was a spinner shot down earlier today. We've been trying to find out information about that, trying to find out who had flying it, who'd shot it down. If you know anything about it, I'd be prepared to pay. He offers you an amount of money that's equivalent to a Chinyan point.
Have any information, I'm afraid.
Well, if you get some information, the offer's there, but of course, money dries up when someone else brings us facts. I've got another issue to send out to the print run, so if you don't mind me, I've got to go back to getting these lazy asses to get on with their job. But it's been nice speaking to you, Officer Novak. I'm sure we will speak again. And he holds out his hand to shake.
Don't shake it. I'll be seeing you.
You will indeed. I have no doubt about it. Cool. It's the end of anything you want to do in the Kill Magazine location? Fair enough.
I mean, there's things I want to do, but I'm not going to do.
An interesting choice.
Burn down the building and everybody in it.
Yeah, sure. But, is that what Novak wants to do, or is that what you want to do? Players' desires versus player characters. So we're going to end the third shift in a moment or so, because it takes a little time to follow styles. Do you come to a... Let me just... Oh, hold on one second while I... Yeah, it's a bit annoying. There is a screen I want to show you. You come to a building, and if you just give me a second, I will show you what it looks like from the outside. Turns out to be easier said than done. So this is the... You follow stars to a location, and you see a figure in the shadows step back into a doorway. Styles go up to him. It's definitely a location that you reckon you could probably go into. It looks like an abandoned building, but where you are at the moment, there's no real way to approach without being noticed. However, you can, because you were successful on that stealth roll, remain hidden, and they seem to be having some degree of a discussion. Whether or not you want to listen in on that or not is up to you.
I'll try and listen in if I can stay undercover, but I'm going to use the text function on the KIA to call it in. Be like track styles to this location, give where roughly I am, no means of approach without being observed, holding position.
Okay. What you hear is this. Where is she now? Says my South African accent, sorry. Where is she now? I sent Leah to the safe house. Leah to the safe. She should stay hidden down there until it's time to go to the sign in the kipple. That's her ticket out. She just needs to lay low now. I'm not sure she seemed angry. Like she's not done yet. Yes, I sensed it too, in her voice. Time will tell. And that is the limit. The figure steps back into the shadows of the building that he's in, and Styles continues to walk. You could continue to follow him. I'm not going to ask for another roll. Is that what you want to do or not?
If I can do it without, and I'll type in as quickly as I can the gist of that conversation, and if there's a way to follow, I'm, say, 90% sure the guy won't see me. But if there's any kind of risk, he's not going to take it. He's too cautious.
So it will be night time, and you will be arriving at another location. I think that we would normally do downtime and that sort of thing, but you are going to have to take a point of stress if you want to continue on that location. The same would be true for Fenna if she's going to join you, and the same would be true of... but the same would not be true of Novak, because he's got that ability. You go into a building, Styles goes in there. It's a doorway with like a simple lock you could probably get through pretty easily. It's an apartment. He heads up into a dilapidated 19th century brick building off Hawker's Circle. So what we'll do, I think we'll end the session here and come back to start the next session with a thought about what exactly you might be being prepared to do there. We've also got the time tracker that we're keeping up to date, so it's an idea to maybe just have a quick look at that. I'm not going to ask you to update it now, but we will update this for the next session, please, so that we know where we've been, what we've done, have an idea of how much time has passed. There we go. So, humanity and promotion points. Interesting, right? So, promotion points, first of all. Have you found one or more clues that led to real progress in the investigation? All three of you have gained a promotion point for that. You didn't save the life of another LAPD officer in this instance, I don't think. Are you reporting one or more other player characters for some form of misconduct and presenting evidence to back up the claim? That was something that was a possibility earlier. I appreciate you said that it wasn't going to happen in role-playing situations, but in between each other, but that may or may not be something you hold to.
So Novak's report states exactly what happened, and at the end of the altercation, I saw that Percival had drawn his firearm and been disarmed, gave him a dressing down on the spot, and told him that's not how we work in the field. And that's... So not
Yes.
reporting him.
No, not really.
Not putting in a subpoena
evidence
for a baseline test or anything.
No, I'll say that doesn't trigger a bonus promotion point, and it doesn't threaten the misconduct for Percival, who probably could suggest that punching a civilian was wrong, although Holden's not going to give a damn about that.
So I'm not uploading any of my conversation with Skylar to the mainframe.
Okay.
I'm going to state that.
So that will get you... Are you protecting Skylar then?
I mean, kind of for now, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll give you a humanity point for that then. Abuses authority or acts in a way unbecoming of a law officer. I regard two of you as being kind of on the borderline of that, but I'm not going to deduct a promotion point, as I've just said. Not ignored or directly violating an order. No harming or killing an innocent suspect or bystander. They weren't really innocent, so that doesn't apply. There's one promotion point issue which you will absolutely suffer if it comes out, Novak, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So I think that's that for now.
Two there, really.
Possibly.
Allows the case to receive negative media exposure and also exposes confidential case information to the media.
Yeah. Well, yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll see. That promotion point can't be lost unless someone can pin it on you, right? But you have lost all of you've lost a promotion point already for this session, so bear that in mind. You did upload the important evidence to the LAPD mainframe. What did you upload? Let's run through that quickly. So, Novak, what have you uploaded?
The butterfly jar.
Yep, that'll do. So, Percival, what have you uploaded?
And that it perhaps indicates something about a state of mind, the photograph, and everything that I've discovered with the conversation.
The photograph, so let's not poach someone
else's.
Sorry. You've got the tracking and what you've got.
Yeah.
The conversation with Styles. That's cool. That's excellent stuff. So that's going to get you your promotion point, and then of course, Fenna, obviously the photograph in your instance. Is that something you're uploading?
No.
Why are you not uploading that? What's your purpose of not doing it? Is it to protect someone?
Yeah.
Who's it to protect?
Potentially Leah. And
I'm not
she's
gonna
got multiple kids, but she thinks it might be like a lot more complex with Leah, and she doesn't think she hurt anyone, but I think she thinks the other people in this investigation do, so she doesn't want to.
Gotcha. So you don't want to give like a motive to strengthen the motive. That certainly gets you a humanity point. So you didn't get a promotion point for uploading that. Instead, you've got a humanity point for not uploading it. Cool. Looking through the rest of through the rest of humanity points, having visited Leah's apartment and found the bedside photo, I'm going to give all three of you a humanity point for that. Who used their key memory or interacted with it in some way? I think Percival, you kind of did, didn't you?
I resisted it. I don't know if that means I don't
you
get it.
interacted with it in some way. I'll give you a humanity point for that. And there we are. So that's the limit of it for now. So this has been our session 3. The investigation is going in some unsuspected angles. And is there a division within the group?
Lines may be being blurred.
Lines may very well be being blurred or completely broken and stepped over, or not. We'll have to see. And we'll have to see what fallout, if any, there is from any of the actions taken. So, see you for session 4, and thank you very much. If you've sat through all of this and enjoyed it, or you've been following us, please do the like and subscribe. It's what keeps a YouTube channel alive, and means we're going to get to continue doing not only Blade Runner, but we will be playing other games like Alien, Earth Dawn, all sorts of other things, Terminator.
All sorts of goodies. Yeah.
So, thanks very much from me.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Cheers. Bye.